Turning now to Florida, where tonight former American Idol finalist Syesha Mercado and her husband Tyron Deener are fighting to get their 2 young children back. Deener captured this video of Child Protective Services taking their 10-day-old daughter last week. Before we play that video, a warning that it could be difficult for some to watch.
You guys, can I sit with my baby and go with you?
No, ma'am.
I'm not a danger. I'm not a danger to my baby.
The video is a clip from Instagram Live and shows the Manatee County Sheriff's Department in Florida stopping Syesha and her husband, forcing them to hand over their baby girl. The sheriff's office says a judge signed a pickup order to take the child after repeated failed attempts to reach the parents. In February, the couple took their 18-month-old child to Johns Hopkins Hospital for treatment after he was having trouble transitioning from breast milk to solids, a common problem among women who are breastfeeding. But the hospital reported to the police that the baby was malnourished. Joining me tonight, Syesha Mercado and her husband Tyron Deener, along with their attorneys Louis Baptiste and Derek McBurrows. Thank you all for coming on tonight. Syesha and Tyron, to you first. I can't imagine what you two are going through. Syesha, you as a new mom, giving birth, only to have your baby literally ripped from your arms, not to mention you're already fighting to regain custody of your baby boy. How are you and your family doing through this whole ordeal?
We're just taking it day by day. It's extremely challenging and an emotional roller coaster. There's been a lot of trauma and damage, but we're doing our best to stay strong for our babies. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's not easy watching that video. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I mean? Just watching that video and knowing that it's my job as a man to protect my family, and living in a country right now and having a situation where I'm not, if I tried in that moment to really protect my family, I would end up either incarcerated or lost my life. So just, it ain't easy watching that video to willingly have to give up 2 babies within a 6 months time frame when our whole life is about family. So it's not just watching that, just, you know, it's something I wouldn't wish on nobody, just being honest, to any father or especially any mother, you know, because it's very important for any newborn to bond with their mother. You know what I mean? Health is more than just what you consume through food, but also the nurturing, you know, the bonding. Like, these are things that have been stripped away from my wife that I have no words to comfort her through a time like this, you know. So it's not easy watching that video, just being honest.
I mean, it's difficult for us to watch, so I can't imagine what it's like for you all to have to relive that moment. Tyron, talk to me about what we saw in that video and why you decided to start streaming to Instagram Live.
We've been going through this for months with CPS, with Manatee County Sheriff's Department, and through this whole ordeal of Ra being taken and Aset being taken, it's just been, we've been judged and misunderstood. The best way I can put it is a lack of cultural competency. That's where there was no transparency in that if we look different, walk different, and talk different, that would be criminalized. That us being vegans, you know, not consuming meat, not consuming dairy, none of these things are illegal. So when you look at the misunderstanding and misrepresentation of my family, it's been criminalized. Like, we have no criminal background. We have no history with Department of Children and Family. So the way they started an investigation with Ra, which continued all the way up until this point where they took our daughter Aset, they were attacking what we represent. We haven't done anything, and we're going to stand firm on that because we know who we are. we know the level of responsibility that we live with every day based off our decisions and how we treat each other and how we treat our babies. So for these past 6 months, I felt the need to just capture that, because most people, when people heard about Amon Ra being taken from us, it was almost like some people would be like, well, what did y'all do wrong? And then some people that know us would be like, why are they treating y'all like this? So at that time, going live was giving the opportunity for the people that have been with us this whole time and supporting us getting Ra back. They can see the Manatee County Sheriff's Department dehumanizing us. You know what I mean? That we communicated with them, saying that we were going to cooperate and meet them at the Sheriff's Department so they can see our daughter. And they chose to pull us over on the side of the road and take our newborn baby on the side of the road. They made that decision. So I just felt the need to just show people, like, this is just a small snippet of what we've been going through. So, and this is the response, and I'm glad it's got the attention, is because that there's been so many families that have been reaching out to us that have been going through this similar situation, but they just haven't had the courage to speak out. And it ain't easy watching that video.
No, you know, let me bring in Lewis. Lewis, the police claim they were performing a surprise welfare check on the family when they stopped their vehicle and surrounded them because they weren't able to get in touch with them. Is this sort of welfare check traffic stop normal protocol?
It's not. First of all, that's absolutely false. One, what we saw in that video, as you well know, that's a felony stop. When you surround the car and you have multiple units, armed units, pulling a car over. We see that when we're looking at drug busts and violent felonies. We don't see that when you're dealing with a child pickup order, especially not if in absence of a kidnapping or Amber Alert. We almost never see that when you're talking about the family. And so, one, we know that the stop itself, that it was false. But going deeper than that, if we will, is that we can tell how pretextual this is, because on that morning and on the night before, this family and Attorney McBurrows made attempts to contact DCF on the emergency hotline. And that's what's not being said, is that this family attempted to lawfully surrender the child in compliance with the court order, and the Manatee Sheriff's Office said they had no one available on that night. The next morning, they seemed to have more than 6 units available to conduct a felony stop in middle of the major highway. And we all know that felony stops are dangerous because they place all parties involved in danger. Except here, they were placing a young, beautiful baby girl who was only 10 days old in that kind of danger without any justifiable reason.
Syesha, tell us more about your kids, Amenra and Aset, and starting with their names. They're beautiful names, and they're so interesting. How did you come up with their names?
Ra named himself. When I got pregnant with Ra, I would always touch my belly. We love being in the sun, so I would just sit in the sun and sunbathe, and I would just touch my belly, and I kept hearing the word sunshine. And so I knew that Ra was connected to the sun, and that meant sun. And so I thought of Ra, and Ty thought of Amun Ra. So it was a collaboration. But I love the sun, and it just resonated with me. And I really felt like my baby was speaking to me even when he was in the womb. And Aset was all Ty. He came up with that. But Ra, he loves being outside. As soon as we could take him outside, we took him outside, and we would go for walks every day. And we would sit by the water. I would let him watch the turtles. He even saw an alligator a couple of times. He loves playing the drums. And I know a lot has changed now because he hasn't been in our care, but that was what he really loved. And he loved listening to Bob Marley. We have a record player, and we would just listen to it every single day. One Love. He had his favorite song, so he loved listening to music with us. He loved playing drums with us. He loved going on walks every day. Sometimes we try to go back inside the house, and he would be like, ah! He want to stay outside. So, and I said, you know, I haven't had the opportunity to spend much time with my baby girl. Yeah. You know, but she ushered in a lot of peace for us. Even just giving birth to her was a form of meditation for us. It was just a beautiful experience. And with everything going on, when she was born, I felt so much peace. And what's getting me through right now is she left peace with me. And I still feel her. And I just want to be with my babies.
Well, we've got to take a break, but we've got more to discuss with you all, Syesha, Tyron, and their attorneys when we return.
ED is personal, but it doesn't just affect you. ED affects your partner too. HIMSS makes it simple to find the right ED medication for you all from home. We'll match you with a licensed medical provider. If prescribed, it's delivered to your door in discreet packaging. Ready to get your relationship on track? Get hard or your money back at forhims.com/ED.
Care. It's more than a word. It's the heart of our mission and purpose for more than 25 years. Today, we serve 2.3 million members, partnering with top quality providers and caring for communities across New York State. This is Fidelis Care. If you need health insurance or if your coverage is changing, Fidelis Care can help. Call 1-888-FIDELIS, TTY 711, or visit fideliscare.org.
This summer,
let me tell you why you're here.
Experience epic heroes, explosions, and sunglasses.
How do you do?
All the movies, all summer long.
I cannot believe it.
That was good.
Popcorn summer movies, only on Pluto TV.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends in Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready? Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Men, want to feel younger, stronger, leaner? You don't have to slow down after 40. Nugenix Total T is our most powerful man-boosting formula ever. Text VERY to 369-369 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. That's VERY to 369-369.
This is our moment.
Be true. Stand.
Diane, just work with me.
Let's get this party started.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
Welcome back. I'm talking to Syesha, Mercado, and Tyron, Deener, together with their attorneys about Child Protective Services taking away their children. Syesha, take me back to earlier this year when you first took baby Amenra to the hospital.
I've been doing my best to not relive this over and over and over again. because as a mom, you know, you go back and think like everything leading up to that moment.
We can you know what, Syesha, we could totally move on if that's something you want to do.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
You know, Ra was a breastfed baby. And I guess most people would call it extended breastfeeding. He was eating solids, but he was getting most of his fluids from me. And, you know, when I got pregnant with Aset, my milk supply went down. And when my milk supply went down, as soon as I realized that, you know, I started researching, and I took him to physicians. I took him to a lactation specialist. You know, I was following what they were telling me to do. And I just, you know, I was monitoring him, and I was like, you know what, I need to take him in to get some extra fluids because, you know, this is the transition process and this is what he needs right now. So I literally went to All Children's Hospital, Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, to get assistance. And when I went there, it just wasn't a very hospitable experience. From the time I went in, I could feel, you know, a lot of judgment. You could feel that. I could feel that energy. And it wasn't the experience that I thought it was going to be. And I never thought that leaving that hospital, I would leave without my son, but that's exactly what happened.
Derek, can you describe the legal trajectory that the case took from that point forward after the hospital?
Well, it's just, since this is a dependency case, you know, it's protected under confidentiality. So there's, you know, I have to basically really glaze over the surface. But what I can tell you is that there was a representation made to the court that this mother never sought medical attention prior to that Johns Hopkins visit. That's an absolute lie. It's a misrepresentation. The mother took the child to Inglewood Community Hospital January 30th with the same type of issue. She experienced that there was a lack of milk production, and she understood that she had some type of lactation issue. She came seeking help. She came seeking education. She came seeking guidance. But ultimately, she was mislabeled so she can be criminalized and ultimately separated from her child.
I see. Lewis, Child Protective Services, they claim that the family didn't inform them of Aset's birth, but I mean, is that true? I mean, she was only 10 days old.
No, I mean, that's absolutely false. Child Services, you have to understand, there was an active pending case with Amin-Ra during the time that Aset was being born. And so Child Services had full knowledge of Syesha's condition, of Aset before she was born. Syesha had prenatal visits more than regular, more than common, more than standard, more than expected. And Child Protective Services knew this. And more importantly, Child Protective Services never sought information. They never worked. The goal, and not to boil it down into the law, but this is all governed by Florida Statutes, Chapter 39. And the goal of Chapter 39, as intended, is for family unification. And when there's a separation, it's reunification. The goal is for the system to work together to keep kids in the home. That hasn't been the goal in this case. That hasn't been the intent in this case. At every single instance, we've seen that CPS has acted with animus towards this family. And how do we know they've acted with animus towards this family? We know that because Aset is a healthy baby girl. Aset has been examined. You just stated it. Amin-Ra was taken for malnutrition and failure to thrive. Those same issues aren't present with Aset. We know Aset is healthy. We've had Aset examined and provided the department with those medical records. The department has had Aset examined, and their own records show that she's healthy. But yet and still, this mother and father don't have their daughter. It's important to note that every single minute of her life was spent with Syesha until DCF and CPS ripped her out of their arms on side of the road. That's what happened in this case. They ripped a healthy baby girl that was above her supposed weight. And still, yet, that didn't stop them from ripping her out of her hands on the side of the street as if she was trash. That's what happened in this case.
And CPS didn't give any warning that they were going to do this?
No, absolutely not. Not only did they not give a warning, in this case, and Attorney McBurney can certify, is that the night before, we called them and we spoke to our operator. Her operator number was number 11. We told her we wanted a pickup in a safe environment, a safe exchange. You know, and the way that this works is, because we're dealing with children, there's always supposed to be an on-call CPI investigator at all times, 24/7. And so when we made the call, we were asking for the on-call representative, which is always supposed to be available. And yet we were told that no one was available, even though we called and tried. And so everything in this case, at every single turn, at every single step, DCF has shown that their real goal is not family reunification, that their real goal is not caring about these babies' health and their welfare, that they're criticizing and they're judging. And more importantly, they're convicting this family. That's what they're doing. By taking their babies, they're convicting them without any due process, without any rights, because of who they are, what they believe in, how they look. I mean, it violates the very foundations of our country. And I say, if these parents can lose a healthy baby girl who's less than 15 days old, then that says what child is safe, what family is protected. And that's why we're fighting so hard here.
Syesha, Tyron, y'all are getting a lot of support online. I want to read an excerpt that you, Tyron, posted. It reads, "The Manatee County Commissioner recently declared that racism is a county public health crisis. Our son Amenra is a prime example of that. My family and I are just one in countless other stories of the taking of children from caring parents that go unheard and unseen." Talk to me, expound on why and how racism is a factor here.
Okay, well, before that, I would like to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting my family. The Right to Be Right, Collective Consciousness, Operation Stop CPS, and all the people that have been relentless in making sure that we have been getting support. And the one thing I noticed about this, as we went public about this injustice that's happened to my family, by speaking out, we realized that a lot of other cases start to surface where families were in a state of fear or being suppressed, were going through similar situations where they may have done nothing wrong, but they were judged. And that's the whole thing, where the whole understanding of culture, the lack of wanting to understand culture. When you're looking at this country and the foundation of this country and what it's built on, we know what it's built on. And so as we spoke out, we start to connect with families that are just like us, that are going through this similar situation, but they may have not had the support or the financial backing to be able to fight back. So the more that we have been speaking up, we're not just speaking up to get Amin Ra and our setback. We have Aaliyah in Shiloh in New York. We have Zephaniah in Kentucky. It's so many families right now that are like in a parallel situation to us. And the fact that this is normal, it's an issue right now in this country.
Journey and King,
and it's two Journeys. Journey in California. It's story after story, and it's like this CPS should not be given this much authority to literally come in and try to parent parents. You know, that if you are living within the confinements of the law and the confinements of statute, based off the mission statements of CPS or any agency that's aligned with it, it's to strengthen families, right? It's to keep families together. But what we see is they coming straight in, breaking everything up, and it's up to how much courage that family has to put the pieces back together. Because what I've been doing the past couple of years is mentoring foster children. I've been working with foster children the past couple of years, even to the fact that I was taking care of 6 group home teenage boys, and also we have 3 other children in our home, and at the same time our son Amin Ra was being removed. So I have been loyal to this state of Florida. I've been helping taking care of foster children and also my own children, and then the state was removing my own children. There's so many different conflicts in our situation that you can't even explain it. But I just know by us speaking up, it's created a situation and an opportunity for people to talk about this shadow, about what's been going on with CPS for all these decades in this country. Because, you know, police brutality has been brought to the forefront. But the thing about it is that let's think about this, us as adults. If we cannot protect our babies, what are we doing? That's all I'm saying. Like our babies. You're talking about babies that are coming into this world, and there are babies being snatched every day by CPS in hospitals. In hospitals. So we're going to continue to speak out even after we get our babies back. And we have great lawyers, we have great representation, and we're going to continue to fight for the justice of these families, because what is safety? Through this whole process the past 6 months, they've been saying they're doing something to my family to make sure that my babies are safe. I don't know what your definition of safe is. I know what safe is based off my definition. You understand? Because if you tell me, how can our home be safe for 3 other children but not be safe for 2 other ones? It's a contradiction. It doesn't make sense. So it's just been something where going through this process lets me know how many things that we have to work on collectively, and also to hold CPS accountable for doing proper investigations, and also respecting the diversity within this culture. It's not a one size fits all. You know what I mean? The one thing about people all over the world is culture. That's the basis and the foundation of any group of people. If you have no culture, you have nothing. So within our culture, my family, we honor nature. We love Mother Nature. We love live music. We love drummings. We value consuming fresh fruits and vegetables. If you want to learn that about us, learn it. But don't judge us and look at veganism as some kind of medical condition or diagnosis. So when you look at the racism that was addressed inside of Manatee County, Manatee County has an issue with diversity and asking those questions and creating a dialogue that you can understand, like, okay, if you live this way, why do you live this way? So I can understand you. That conversation hasn't been had for the past 6 months since Amara hasn't been here, and of recently with our set. It's been them trying to dominate my family and basically seeing them almost in a way trying to coerce my family into a certain social behavior to make them comfortable in regards to Manatee County Sheriff's Department and Child Protective Services.
Wow. Syesha, let me bring you in. I want to end this discussion with you. You said that your proudest accomplishment in life is being a mother to your beautiful babies. What would you want your kids to know tonight, and what do you want them to learn one day from what you're dealing with right now?
To always stand in your truth, and to let no one intimidate you or put you in a state of fear when you know what you're doing is right. To stand in your strength and use your voice to change the world. And we're using our voices to make change, because it's time. It's way too easy to remove children, and this really has got to stop. So we're doing this for our baby so that they can see that it's okay to fight for what's right. It's okay.
Nakupenda, and I said, I gotta say that. So if they watching this, like, yo, your parent, we fighting for you, and Nakupenda means I love you in Swahili. So we love you in multiple ways. Unconditional, just so they know, if they watch it, they come across this, they're not with us. So I just have to say that as a dad, because I just have to put that out there.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much, Syesha, Mercado, Tyron, Deener, and family attorney Louis Baptiste. Thank you so very much for being here tonight. I appreciate you all. Thank you. All right, there's no more time. That is it for the show. Thank you so much for watching Making the Case. Up next, Prime with Charles Blow. Good night.